Hello and welcome back. I have taken a little break over the Christmas and New Year's period to just think about things, recoup, get some new ideas flowing and remember why I started this channel. It also, for some reason, the American Biscuits video has been doing really well and I'm super excited. Welcome if you're new. If you haven't checked it out, you can check it out. I'll put it in the information card. But yeah, thank you so much. It's taken me by surprise and I'm truly, I don't know what to say about it. This is unbelievable. I actually reached my 100 sub goal pretty much at the end of the year and you guys are responsible for that. So thank you. But today, back on today's topic, I'm going to be teaching you how to make something that I made in baking school and I absolutely love them still. I did do a little bit of research. It's called musica di Carte. It is an Italian style bread, but it says it's a crispy cracker. I didn't have it as a crispy cracker, so this could be not very traditional. It's also traditionally done in a wood fire oven apparently, or some sort of a really hot wood oven. I'm not doing that, we're doing it in the oven. Yeah, in the way I was taught, so this could be wrong and I'm very sorry if this is not the way you know them to be, but yeah. So we're just going to start off with a couple of things. I want to go on a little bit about the origin of it. So its name translates to sheet music. And it's because when you roll it out, it's supposed to be so thin that you can see through it. Like you would be able to read sheet music through your rolled out bread. Yeah, I thought that was a really cool fact that I wanted to share, and now we're going to get into the baking of it because they taste delicious and I can't wait for you to try them and see them, of course. So let's get into the baking. Okay, so this recipe is super duper simple and doesn't require many ingredients. It is just flour, yeast, water and salt. I am going to be using a kitchen stand mixer. This is what I'm going to be using today, and I'm going to be using a dough hook attachment, and you just put everything in this bowl. So I have 250 grams of flour. Durum flour is recommended, but I'm using plain, so I might need a little bit extra later. Then you're going to add in 5 grams of yeast, 5 grams of salt. If you're doing it dry like I am, you need to try and get instant active yeast, dry instant active yeast. If you do not have this kind of yeast and you have another kind of yeast, please research it first. Some types of yeast you need to dissolve in water first. Speaking of water, I have 167 grams of room temperature water, which I'm going to add in. Then we put the lid down. Helpful if you can find the button, and just start on slow for 2 minutes. Once your ingredients have started to come together and it's kind of looking like a shaggy dough, then you can speed it up, and you want to keep it on fast for 6 to 7 minutes. So when you think your dough is ready, it is time to do a test called the window pane test, and the dough will be a little bit sticky, so don't worry too much about that. But you grab a very small piece of dough and you very gently pull with your thumb and index finger, and eventually you should get a piece of dough that you can see kind of through. Not that hole. That hole, you want to try and avoid the holes, but it's a little bit sticky. Try again. So I'll show you one more time. You kind of just gently pull it. In an ideal world, it would be slightly less sticky, which is what the durum would do, but it's right. We're working with what we got. I just got plain flour. Now, can you see how, like, you can see the light through one of these pieces? You can't quite see me, but you can see the light. That means we're past the window pane test. Now, we divide it up. Alrighty, start by lightly flouring your surface. It's sometimes helpful to have a little container of flour, so if you need more you can grab it. And then any excess you can just put back. Then you grab out your dough from the bowl. Now for this next part, I'm going to be using a dough scraper. It is, you can get them at the $2 shop for really cheap. or you can just use a knife. I don't feel like using a knife on my bench top. And as for the sizes of these, if you were making them and you needed them to be uniform, then you would weigh them on a scale, weigh the total dough, and then weigh them out into portions. However, that is not what we're doing. We're just making some to eat for later. Now you've got your 6 portions. I would ball them, so you just roll them into a ball however you want to. Balling is when you like use your fingers to kind of tuck it under and you do this kind of motion. But then you place them in your fridge for 30 minutes to retard, as it's called when it's in the fridge. But it's just to rest. It's to let the gluten calm down a little bit after you've messed with it. So, oh, that's so uneven. Look at the size difference. Anyway, in the fridge. Okay, so now while you're waiting, you can grab a garlic. One, you can even do 2 if you like garlic a lot. And you're just going to finely dice it. And I'll tell you what it's for after. Once you're happy, you're going to grab a small container, like this. Add a little oil. By a little, I mean a decent amount. It's got to go across all 6 of your musica di Carte. Then you can add in your garlic and set that aside for 30 minutes to infuse into the oil while we wait. You can also add in some dried rosemary or some dried herbs of your choice if you would like. I have some rosemary from my mum's garden that I've had sitting on the bench that I want to use up. So I'm going to add in a small amount into the oil, and I'm also going to add some on top later on. But now we just set it aside. Not gonna lie, it has been a little more than half an hour. I definitely got distracted on TikTok, stopped the timer, and it has probably been another 20 minutes. But that doesn't matter. The whole point was just to rest it and let the gluten kind of settle down and probably to help with a little bit of rising. So what we're gonna do now is gonna preheat the oven and get on to the next steps. So preheat the oven to pretty much as high as it'll go. I'm gonna put mine on 240 degrees Celsius on bake. For this, you're also going to need a baking pan or baking tray. They're going to be circles and they're going to be quite big, so I'm only going to be able to bake one at a time, but thankfully they only take 4 minutes, so that should be sorted. So I'll be rolling one, chuck one in the oven, rolling one, chuck one in the oven. So the sooner it preheats, the better. You're going to want a lightly dusted surface again, and I ended up investing in a rolling pin since the previous video, and then you're just going to roll it out. When trying to keep an even circle, it's best to roll out all the edges evenly. And we're going for about a 2mm thickness, or as the name suggests, a see-through. So I have a baking tray here lined with baking paper, and I'm just going to take my nice thin piece of dough, put it on like so, and then using a basting brush, a brand new paintbrush, anything like that, you're going to grab your oil and garlic mix from earlier and just spread it over the top. And if you like garlic, you can strain this and just have the oil. Sorry, if you don't like chunks of garlic, but if you like a more garlic strong taste like me, you can just leave your chunks in. I'm then going to sprinkle another couple of pieces of rosemary over the top, and lastly some pink Himalayan salt. Now when my oven preheats, I'll chuck that in for 4 minutes, and then we'll take it out and show you what it looks like. And this is what they turn out like. They have big air bubbles all through them, and they start getting a nice golden colour. This was my second one. It actually turned out a bit better. This is the first one. It's cooler, but it still will crack and snap. and I can kind of see why they call them crackers now. This one was a little bit thick, the second one's a lot thinner. Really, really good. They have nice crispy edges or air pockets. You can taste the salt, the garlic, the rosemary, everything. And my house smells amazing. I would almost call them like flatbreads or pizzas. Like a thin crust pizza with no toppings. Either way, I love them. And you should really try them. And that concludes today's video. I want to say thank you so much for watching. I hope you made it all the way to the end. And comment down below what you want to see next, actually. Do you have a recipe you want me to trial? Do you have some sort of recipe you've been meaning to try, or you don't know how it's going to turn out and you're scared to try it? Send it my way. I'll give it a go for you and I'll give you an honest review. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Please remember to hit the subscribe button and that bell notification icon, and I'll see you in the next video I post. Please try these ones. I love them. And if you're having like people over for a snack, they're perfect. And you can even chuck them in the freezer and heat them up in the oven if you really wanted to. But I guarantee you they won't last that long. Especially if you just do a single batch like I did. You can also double this batch. So, peace!